So Street Fighter V Story Mode was a pretty fun and wild experience, even though my expectations for it was pretty damn low at the start. I know I'm a little tardy to the party when it comes to talking about Street Fighter V Story Mode, but I felt I should give it its due since there might be a lot of people like me who sell the story short before playing it. I guess I'm really just here to say it's worth playing for what it is. So the actual story of this story mode is pretty simple and isn't gonna win any awards. See, the plot is Bison's got a new plan to take over the world, and it's up to the World Warriors to stop him. Nothing really special. Believe it or not though, I think the story isn't really the main draw to this mode. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? To be honest, the main draw was really the interaction between the diverse cast of the game. Street Fighter V Story totally took a back seat to just seeing the characters out of the 2D realm tossed into an active plot and seeing how they interact with it. With many nods to former and future Street Fighter lore, timeline-wise, die-hard Street Fighter fans would appreciate the subtle hints of things that tie into Street Fighter 3 games and what continues on from Street Fighter 4 games. That said, if you aren't really into the cast or Street Fighter lore, you might not get much of a kick as I or the fans would out of the story. Although not everyone could get behind lore stuff and the overall story, I believe a lot of people can definitely grow to dig the cast way more after playing the story mode. You got characters like Karen, who's basically like the Nick Fury of the World Warriors, bringing everybody together and carrying out objectives and commands and whatnot. Charlie Nash, who's trying to sell the score of Bison once and for all after being resurrected by some female that fans might know from the Street Fighter 3 story. Cammy, who begins to somewhat have loyalty issues due to her conflicting ideals of family or the mission, and a bunch of other characters that had cool, albeit small/short moments that really get you into what you're playing. A lot of the characters do have these character redeeming moments or arcs, but sadly not enough of them. Although one character did stick out to me in this whole story mode, and that was Rashid, who was low-key kind of our hero in this story and really got fleshed out personality-wise pretty well.
Stop acting so violent to him. Aren't you satisfied?
Don't touch me.
Huh?
Commoner, get that filthy hand off me before I make you regret it!
The story was predictable and didn't really give players a reason to care about anything that's going on, but Rashid's antics and high energy really made you root for him and enjoy when he was on screen, even though him and a lot of the cast could get pretty damn cringy at times.
You guys talking about me? What have you been doing around here? And look at your hair! I know what it is! You must have found a girlfriend!
No, I didn't! Don't touch me! Hey! Can't breathe!
But you still look so thin as a rail! You must eat more meat, otherwise your girlfriend won't like you!
I said I don't have a girlfriend!
Yeah. But speaking of the cast, I've got to give my girl, Juri, a special spotlight. Man, it's probably just me, but she stole the show every single time she popped up. Maybe it's the snarky attitude or that skin-tight outfit. Bless Capcom's soul for that design choice, but they knocked her out of the park in this story, man. Let me just say, I've never had a waifu before, but I think I found it in Juri. She can beat the everlasting dog shit out of me anytime. Getting back on track, yeah, the story isn't the greatest like I said before, but it only runs an hour and 30 minutes tops, and it's pretty damn enjoyable for being that length. If this was any longer, I think I would have gave this game a big ol' L, but for the length it is, it's a fun and wacky ride you can down in one sitting without feeling like it's a chore. Capcom really didn't take themselves too seriously when making this. It really captured the vibe of an action anime from the late 90s. Action-packed and a fun ride, but pretty cliche. All in all, the story was cheesy, over the top, and even at some points, cringy as all hell. But it was cool. The story was never intended to be the next big story mode classic or anything. Instead, it was a cool thing that fans can play if they want a little bit more of their purchase of Street Fighter V. Oh, and if you felt this wasn't enough to make up for Street Fighter V's poor launch, keep in mind this may not be the only story mode expansion that we get for Street Fighter V, since Ono does want to keep Street Fighter V around almost as long as Street Fighter 4 was. And I wouldn't exclude the thought of another campaign-like story coming along later on, especially with all the bits and pieces still left in the air from this story. But I think this is where I'll end the video. Street Fighter V story wasn't as bad as many may think, or I guess it just wasn't really bad overall. But yeah, it's your boy AG95. I hope you guys dig the video. Drop a like, leave a comment, and if you're feeling generous, drop that sub too. It helps me out, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay golden, y'all. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you look right above me, you can see 2 of my previous videos. So, if you feel like supporting your boy, feel free to check them out. It's okay, take your time. I'll just be right here when you're ready to watch them.